Hello guys, welcome. US government watchdog calls for changes in Afghan training effort. Washington. Even as thousands of additional American troops head to Afghanistan, a US government watchdog is warning that tens of billions of dollars could be wasted unless changes are made in the training of Afghan security forces. Deficiencies in the Afghan forces, including the military and police, are getting renewed attention after US President Donald Trump's administration decided to send more than 3,000 additional troops to the country, where the United States has been engaged in its longest ever war. Washington has spent $70 billion training Afghan forces since 2002 and is still spending more than $4 billion a year, according to a report from the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, SIGAR, published on Thursday. Despite those sums, Afghan security forces are struggling to prevent advances by Taliban insurgents more than 16 years after the United States invaded Afghanistan to topple the Islamist Taliban government that gave Al-Qaeda the sanctuary where it plotted the 9/11 attacks. According to US estimates, government forces control less than 60% of Afghanistan, with almost half the country either contested or under the control of insurgents. The report says US forces focused on carrying out military operations during the initial year after the 2001 invasion, rather than developing the Afghan army and police. When the United States and NATO did look to develop the security forces, they did so with little input from senior Afghan officials, according to the report. At one endpoint, the report said training for Afghan police officials used PowerPoint slides from US and NATO operations in the Balkans. The presentations were not only of questionable relevance to the Afghan setting, but also overlooked the high levels of illiteracy among the police, the report said. John Sopko, the head of SIGAR, said that one US officer watched TV shows such as COPS and NCIS to understand what to teach Afghan officials. Sopko said the US government approach to Afghanistan lacked a whole-of-government approach, in which different agencies such as the State Department and Pentagon coordinate efforts. The inability of embassy officials in Kabul to ensure far outside their secure compound also affected oversight and coordination, he said. Very real improvements. The goal of US policy remains centering local forces to defeat the Taliban and secure the country so economic development can proceed. Victory will look like people in the government of Afghanistan being able to handle this threat from the terrorists, using their own security forces with international mentors, probably there for many years to come. US Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said recently. Michael Kugelman, a South Asia specialist at the Woodrow Wilson Center, a Washington think tank, said that while the Afghan forces had major shortcomings, including their ability to collect intelligence and hold territory, their progress should not be overlooked. It is easy to forget the progress that the security forces have made amid all the doomsday rhetoric, but there have been very real improvements in the Afghan security forces. For instance, the special forces have become jewel of the Afghan security forces, Kugelman said. Now, President Ashraf Ghani said on Wednesday the country's army was not only better trained and profiting from a new generation of soldiers, but had gained experience after huge cuts in the US-led international force under former US President Barack Obama forced Afghans to assume a bigger role in the fighting. So that's enough for now. Thanks guys for listening, and we will be giving you more such stuff, so stay tuned and please subscribe this channel for more. Thanks guys. Goodbye.